Karen follows me into the men's restroom. A few weeks ago I was visiting my local big box bookstore, looking for good clearance items before the store closed permanently. The dead mall it was attached to is being demolished. The store has no DRS code, but the employees do wear lanyards. And I wasn't. So I was browsing around my preferred sci-fi section when I realized I needed to use the nearby restroom. So I headed in that direction, which happened to also be next to the mid-store customer service counter. Karen notices me, positions herself directly in front of me, and blocking my path to my urinary destination. I don't know why you don't keep that desk staffed, but I really need your help finding my book. Are you going to help me or not? Quote, not, I say, remembering the urgency of my business. And I step around her with a variation of I don't work here, continuing to my destination. Thinking that will be the end of the encounter. It's not to be. I hear her voice rising in pitch and volume, on its way to full Karen Banshee as she literally follows me into the men's room. And I'm convinced she was about to grab my arm and pull me around to face her. Being conscious of social norms about public exposure, I made it into a stall and locked the door for privacy. That didn't stop her from knocking on the door and threatening to get me fired. Before she heard the really solid stream hit the water and, I'm convinced, realized for the first time what it was she had done. I heard her embarrassed-sounding squeak huff, and she hightailed it out of there. I finished my thing and washed my hands, and came out to witness her being escorted out of the store by a properly lanyarded employee. I only caught the tail end of the conversation where Karen stated she was never coming here again. And the employee had a classic response. Neither am I. We're closing. Professor Karen yells at a student thinking I'm a construction worker. So I was a new student at a university that was under construction. The team that was doing the work parked in a secret parking lot that's entrance was through one of the few disability parking lots. It was a problem once in a while with large trucks parked in the disability parking lot, because they are too big to get through the gate, which left not many spaces. So when a few workers did park in the wrong parking lot, they got a ticket quick, as the front parking lot is for cars with disability plaques. So in my first week of school I had a Karen encounter. As I got back to my car I heard he screech of a wild Karen, "Hey, you can't park there." Why? Do I need another parking pass? I already bought one. No, but you can't park here, this parking lot is for disabled folks. You need to park in the back parking lot. Where is your supervisor? What is your name? Just because you're white doesn't mean you can get away with breaking the law. I'm a professor here and I can't stand you workers taking up these spots. It finally dawns on me. She thought I was a construction worker, despite not having a hard hat or vest. Oh well, yeah, it sucks there are less spots. But I'm a student here and I have a student parking pass and disability placard. Sorry about that, you just walk. Fine, so I assume. Anyhow, are you leaving? Can I have that spot? No worries, and yes, I'm heading out. This wasn't the end of it though. So when I went to my afternoon class 1, learned she was the professor of my racism, sexism and disables literature class. We laughed when she noticed I was her student. But a few weeks later it was a surprise to find she was parked in that parking lot without a placer as I wanted, and I just ignored it. When I got AC I reported it. Revenge at last. Now comes a story of revenge that may make someone's day. So to start off, I used to work at a big warehouse store chain. Let's call it CJ's. I worked there for nearly 5 years. Finally got fed up and had to leave. I now work at an amazing factory job and I love it. Been there a little over 8 months. Which makes this story even more fascinating in a way. Yesterday, I was at CJ's, getting groceries and talking to a couple of my old friends that still work there. I'm wearing my factory uniform. clearly not wearing the red and blue that the workers at CJ's wear. My factory uniform is black. In walks an older woman that we all know of. Let's call her, Karen. She was what you might call a problem customer. Nothing was ever what she liked. All the employees were idiots, etc. But she had a real hatred for the male employees. Why? Who knows? But she treated me and the other male stock clerks horribly. Karen spots me talking to my friends. And Karen never liked me. Even though I had on a mask and again was wearing my factory uniform. She comes right on over. Tells us all we're lazy workers and that we don't get paid to stand around and talk. She then orders me to help her lift some cat litter into her cart. Me. No, I don't work here anymore. Get someone else to do it. Karen. Excuse me, you do too work here. You've helped me in the past. Now help me get some cat litter. Quote, me. I haven't worked here in 8 months. I'm not doing anything. One of these guys will help you. Indeed, the 2 guys I was talking to were literally standing right there. But that didn't please Karen. Karen, are you refusing to help a paying customer? I'll get you fired. Quote, at that point, I was rather fed up. I just smiled at her and said, okay, go ahead, get me fired from here you bitch. That went as well as you'd expect. And she immediately went to the service desk. Minutes later, Karen came back with one of the managers. And who was the manager she got? The one I got along extremely well with when I worked there. As soon as they reached me, I hear her say, that's the one. Fire him for insulting me and not helping me. Quote, he just walked over and asked me how my new job was going. Karen's look equals priceless. TLDR. Karen yells at me for not helping her at a place I haven't worked at in months and ends up looking like a jackass. I don't work here, lady. I used to live here. This happened about 2 weeks ago and I just thought to post it. Even if it is pretty short and not all that dramatic. 2 weeks ago, I was helping my dad install several new sets of doors to our old house. We moved into our new house just over 2 months ago and we've been renovating our old house to rent out, rather than try to sell it due to current circumstances. We've basically completely redone the house aesthetically with new paint, new flooring, even some upgrades to make it more attractive and warrant a better price for it. We made the decision to rent our house through a property management company. The company basically acts as a middleman that handles any issues with the tenants, so my parents, who own the house, aren't acting as direct landlords. And since we were just about done cleaning up the house to make it attractive to potential tenants, and it had passed inspection, our last-minute door change was approved by the agency. One of the employees from the company was offering tours to potential tenants they'd organized by appointment. It was around noon that the employee had just done the last of her rounds with potential tenants for the day, and she offered me a small stack of her personal cards so anyone who came through interested in our house could call her to arrange a tour. I took the stack of cards and put it in my pocket, promising I'd hand the cards to any potential tenants who expressed interest. About an hour or so passed and I'd taken a break to have some lunch. I was sitting on the porch and looking out at the for rent sign when a lady came trotting down the sidewalk. She looked at the sign and then looked up at me. The stocky Hispanic kid in jeans, a t-shirt and some Vans, and marched her way up the walkway to the house. Lady, excuse me, are you doing tours of this rental? I'd like to see the inside. I stood up, brushing off one hand to dig through my jeans pocket and pull out the fat deck of the company lady's cards to peel one off for her. Me. The company actually just finished tours for the day, but they gave me these cards. Here's the lady managing the property. You can give her a call and set up a tour of the property. Lady, can't you give me a tour? Me. I mean, I don't work for the company so I can't give you any official tour. Better for you to call the company and set up an appointment. They're the professionals. Lady, you don't work for the company? Then what are you doing here? Me, installing some new doors. The company told us it was okay, so we just. Lady, so you do work for the company? Quote, she said this as if she'd just riddled out some great mystery. Me, look, lady, I don't work for the company. My dad's the owner of the property and he arranged with the company to handle the renting of this house. I'm helping him install new doors so the house that I grew up in can be more attractive to potential tenants. Now, if you want a tour, you can call the lady handling the renting of this house. Here's her card. Have a nice day. The lady looked at the card, looked at me, and something must have clicked in her head because she just took the card and walked off. The rest of the afternoon went pretty smooth. I handed out about a dozen cards to other people who were interested in renting, and the lady handling our house called my dad to thank me once we got home. No, sorry, I actually know nothing about music. First time post and sadly lacking in drama. This happened a fairly long time ago, so I'm a little fuzzy on the details. The first time someone ever mistook me for an employee was when I was 14/15 of a year old, wearing the black hoodie and being incredibly introverted while shopping with my dad at a certain electronics store that loves blue and yellow. My dad and I split off, leaving me to browse the CD aisle and so I can pretend I knew what good music was. After a few minutes of looking through the CDs, a middle-aged woman approached me, showing me the name of a band and album on a slip of paper, telling me that I seemed like I would know about a particular band's CD that her kid was looking for. I didn't. Politely apologized and explained that I couldn't help her. She thanked me and went about her business, talking with people, especially people I didn't know. A few moments later, though, this older gentleman approached me and started asking me about some gadget or whatnot he was looking for and where he could find it. I explained to him I didn't work there, though he did look kind of confused by my response. I took his moment of silence and booked it out of the aisle, meeting back up with my dad ready to finish up our shopping. I told my dad about what had happened and he got a good chuckle out of it, and I got a mildly entertaining story.
Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more Reddit content.